Donald Trump among Latinos in Nevada. Joe Biden, a very similar lead 4 years later, 26 points. So you can see, according to Insider Advantage, that lead is down to just 3 points for Kamala Harris. That's a 23-point swing over this 4-year period. Now, if that holds up, that equates to a 70,000 vote loss here for the Democrats. Now, keep in mind, in 2020, Biden won the state by just 30,000 votes, so very significant here. Let's take a look at another demographic here. Nevada voters crossing party lines in their choice for president. How many Republicans voted Democrat and how many Democrats voted Republicans? Well, you can see 2016, it's a wash here between Clinton and Trump. Ditto for 2020, but in 2024, 13% of Democrats are going to vote for Donald Trump, at least according to an Insider Advantage poll, compared to just 9 for Kamala Harris. Now, how about Nevada's independent voters? This is an interesting one here. 2016 independent voters, 50% of them voted for Donald Trump compared to just 37% for Hillary Clinton. Clinton still won the vote, though. 2020, though, Joe Biden turned the tables on Donald Trump, getting 50% himself to Trump's 44%. And Kamala Harris actually has surprisingly held that up among independent voters. So these are actually some surprising numbers, but Tiff, back to that 6 electoral votes, that is the lowest among these 7 swing states there, but I think they still come into play. Now, Insider Advantage actually has Trump leading in the states of Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Arizona, but that would still leave him 5 electoral votes shy of the 270 needed. There's 6 in Nevada here, so if he gets this one, that could put him over the top. Back to you at the desk.
With early voting starting Friday in Nevada, Democrats and Republicans in the state are in legal battles over so-called ineligible voters on voter rolls. Our legal correspondent, Arlene Richards, reviews these lawsuits and more in this last major battleground state.
Several lawsuits have been filed in Nevada, the swing state that mainly votes by mail. With only 6 electoral votes, it seems that Nevada wouldn't be so crucial. But in this tight presidential election, every vote counts. In 2020, President Biden won the state by about 3 percentage points, although Trump beat Biden by a landslide in almost all of the Nevada counties. Biden won the 2 that matter most, Washoe and Clark counties. Remember this?
Joe Biden now leading by 22,076 votes in Nevada. What happened here? Well, we talked about this. Clark County, Las Vegas area, by far the biggest county in the state. They just reported a big bunch of votes, a little bit under 30,000 of them. And Joe Biden got 68% of them.
Clark County, home of Las Vegas, is the largest county with 70.8% of the electorate as of 2020. But the state's true leader is Washoe County, home of the city of Reno. It makes up another 18.4% of the statewide vote share. Although candidates can win solely by taking Clark, success most often favors those who carry Washoe, too. Now, former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are neck and neck in Nevada, which means just a few thousand votes could decide who wins the state. They've made the Silver State a target for their rallies.
25 days from now, we are going to win Nevada. We are going to defeat Kamala Harris. And we are going to make America great again.
And as you say here in Las Vegas, I'm all in. I'm all in.
All
Even
in
if
what?
my opponent is ready to fold. So there you go.
The candidates are getting help from their respective parties, battling in courts over Clark and Washoe counties' enforcement of election laws. First up, the Nevada Republican Party and the RNC filed a lawsuit 5 months ago against officials in those 2 counties. They're challenging the officials' practices of counting mail-in ballots without a postmark received up to 3 days after Election Day. Republicans say the officials' practice of counting those ballots harms Republicans because they vote by mail far less than Democrats do. They're asking a judge to block officials from counting the ballots. Republicans filed a similar lawsuit last month. The case accuses Secretary of State Francisco Aguilar of failing to legally remove potentially 6,000 non-citizens from the voter rolls. But Democrats have asked the court to dismiss the case, saying it's too late because federal law doesn't permit them to process challenges 90 days before an election. Republicans are asking a judge to order Aguilar to implement Nevada's
illegal
voter
aliens
maintenance program.
vote
No decision
in
yet,
our
one way
federal
or the other.
elections,
Since
which
May,
is
there have
against
been
the law.
thousands of voter challenges filed by one conservative group, including cases filed in Clark and Washoe counties. The group, Citizens Outreach Foundation, recently dismissed multiple cases because officials again argued that lawsuits were filed too late. The group's leader, Chuck Muth, said in a blog post that officials' arguments were splitting hairs and that once we'd get into court, it'd be a crapshoot. Maybe we'd win, maybe we wouldn't. Early voting has started in several states and many lawsuits have already been decided. For example, a state judge in Georgia recently ruled that members of the Election Commission must certify the election results by the state's mandatory due date, regardless of any suspicions of fraud. And in Michigan, where Republicans sued the city of Detroit, the city agreed to correct its poll worker selection process to ensure they hire the same number of Republican workers as Democrats. Tiffany, back to you.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked health officials in Florida from taking action against TV stations that run ads that support loosening restrictions on abortion. The ruling follows a lawsuit over cease and desist letters sent to broadcasters. U.S. District Chief Judge Mark Walker has ruled in favor of Floridians Protecting Freedom, which sued state health officials over a cease and desist letter sent to TV stations airing one of their ads. The ad, which began airing on October 1st, features a woman with brain cancer sharing her story about having an abortion at 20 weeks before current restrictions would have blocked the procedure. The lawsuit alleges the state's attempt to stop the ad was unconstitutional coercion. Florida's health department called the ad false, arguing abortions are allowed after 6 weeks if doctors agree it's necessary to save a woman's life. But the coalition says this exception wouldn't have applied in the woman's case because her abortion didn't save her life, but rather extended it. Judge Walker ruled the ad is protected political speech under the First Amendment and issued a restraining order against Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo to prevent further threats against TV stations. The restraining order will expire on October 29th, the same day a hearing on a preliminary injunction is scheduled. President Biden has left Berlin after meeting